Dum da 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 dum dum. Okay. I want to be myself. See what my friends are doing on CodePen. Ooh, smashing. Oh, yeah. This is my demo that was forked, right? Oh, no, maybe not. It is, though. Oh, it is. It was inspired by me. Some really cool checks based on this original article. That's the React Native one. Look, he made a little ad for us. Thank you. That's fun. Why is it so little? Is that the font size used, or is it a scaling? Oh, it's, can you see how it doesn't change when we're doing dramatic changing here? It must be using viewport units or something. Right? What is all this sizing stuff? Oh, 8 vmin. Yeah, look at that. Well, I'm confusing the smurf out of it. Fun. And this has, oh, this does have reflow. Whereas, yeah. That was one of the forks' ideas, that it wouldn't have reflow. I sort of don't care, but if it is truly a... If it's truly a... I already forgot what I was going to say. What is wrong with my brain? If it's truly an accessibility issue, that reflow, then it does need to be dealt with. But the little movement of it, weird to say, but I thought I kind of liked it, how they push the other ones out of the way a little bit when you select it. A little extra something, something. Well, isn't that nice? What is the butterfly effect? Yeah, it's the if a butterfly flapped its wings thing. Oh, do they sit side by side if there's enough room? Yes. Oh, you can look. You can almost tell when it's like, I can't guarantee this, but I feel like some people roll into. There's more and more pens that are just like AI output, how it puts it all in one document, and they just dump it in here, and it tends to work fine. Please click a circle in the left box. Okay, the initial state alerted. They're the same now. That's fun. I don't get it, but I get the concept. Oh, this is good. I think we recently fixed that, where the back button now like really does maintain the right cursor. It puts you right back in the feed where you were before. Pretty sweet. Nice. I love the look of that. Super good. Okay, I can get to field sizing now. I was just exploring CodePen, that's going to be my new thing at the beginning of a stream, waiting for anybody to show up and hang out with me. But the goal of today is to look at field sizing. I don't think we're going to need any JavaScript today. I'll just clean up after ourselves a little bit. And it's going to be based on, at least right away, we're going to use text area, and the text area will have nothing in it at first, but as we type in here, like, I'm leaving an important comment here, and it's really neat. Notice that the text area doesn't resize at all. I think it's almost trivial to add it, right? Text area, field sizing. Look at that, it's already in our autocomplete. Are we on it or what? And then you say content, I think. And now ooh, that's smashed down small. Weird. What do you make of that? It's because there's just no content, right? You can't go like field sizing Y or field sizing in the block direction. So I guess it needs a min width or something, or would you just set a width? I don't know. It's weird how it smashes all the way down, but I guess you'd never really, text areas are like 300 pixels wide, which you probably wouldn't leave to its own devices anyway. Look, you can already see there's more space on the left than right. And it's just one of those classic things where width equals 100% is why we all go box sizing border box, and then it'll pull in, I believe, right? Making that sizing, just one of the millions of reasons why we all use that little reset-y thing. I could use my reset from previous streams, but I wonder if it's going to like do a little too much. I think we're already using field sizing and stuff. I think I want a more minimalized demo. And then probably like a min height. Like, let's say we want it to be 3 lines high. Would we say line heights? 3 line heights high? It won't even be 3 lines though. It shows what I know about it. Like, it's not 3 line heights is not actually 3 lines high. Doesn't that weird you out a little bit? So if you want exactly 3 lines, I don't even know how you get it. Maybe you just can't. That seems like a reasonable default there. Interesting that it's monospace too. Is that normal for text areas? Is that in the user agent style sheet is for a text area to be monospace? It is. That is strange, isn't it? How did I not know that? I'm sure it's been like that since the beginning of time. It just seems a little strange to me because an input is not, right, of type text. That's not monospace. That is monospace. Who is in charge around here? That is funky. I do want to leave that there because I think we're going to come back to it. But we could say, now I'm leaving a comment. Return, return. It's pretty cool. Return, return. Not field sizing is doing its thing. We should have got around to that. Cool. Welcome viewers on Twitch and stuff. Return, 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 return. So this is growing as big as it's getting, and there's no JavaScript involved. It's just this line. Field sizing content. Like, I think that if that's the one, it's probably the one thing I'll ever use this for. So as far as the demo is concerned, like that's the thing to teach is like, oh yeah, that's the thing that makes text areas grow on the cheap. But I guess you need to know that it collapses text area. So you really need to be dealing with its own stuff. What if we put height? Will it still grow? Does field sizing override it? No. So we have to say, if we just used height, it would win over field sizing. So we have to use min height, which makes sense to me. If you set a height on something, it better as heck respect that. That's cool to me. What if we put the content in the text area already? Lorem? So we have another text area. It has a bunch of stuff in it. Yeah, that appears to be taller. We should probably go, can we do this? Like this little piggy went to market. Do line breaks get respected in HTML like that? They do. It's a little bit like a pre-tag, I guess. You got to come over to the left and then not have the space at the end. Okay. This little piggy went home. Is that a better demo? Because it's just like more taller. Yeah, so it doesn't require a user interaction. It really just is the content that's inside there. All right, so we haven't actually read anything yet, but we have made some progress here already as far as a nice little demo. This is the MDN doc, so it's experimental technology. Why would they say that? What does experimental mean? It means the technology is nascent and immature and currently in the process of being added to the web platform. Yeah. What do you say about that? How experimental is it when it's shipping in Chrome? And I believe in technical preview of Safari. So just no Firefox on the way for Safari. Feels a little more than experimental to me at this point. It is typically used for inputs and text areas. We already looked at those, but we haven't really applied it to the input yet. We'll get there. And then we used content, and then fixed is the default value. So that's if you do nothing, you get fixed. I guess you'd need to know that if you're like forcefully resetting it to the default behavior. And then all the keywords we would expect. Field sizing overrides default preferred sizing of form elements. Yeah, cool. And then the elements affected. Let's get there. We have a question from Mr. Chase. If it's positioned bottom, will it grow to the top? I mean, I would think so. It's just height, right? So if we took this particular one, let's get rid of that. I don't need the name on there, really. We're not putting it in a form yet. We would handle that another way, maybe? I don't know. ID equals, try this. Try this. Why can't I type? Oh, I'm not used to styling things by IDs. It feels weird to have a hash there. Position fixed, bottom 0, left 0. Is that going to go down to the bottom of the viewport? Where is it? Oh yeah, it's at the bottom of the viewport. So now if I start typing, it's just going to go upwards. Yeah. If we put on bottom, it would grow upwards. The height just changes. So it's not, I don't think that's magic. I think that's just how anything works. Like when you stick the bottom of something like this and then its height gets bigger, it has to push upwards. I don't think it's unique, but it is good to know that it respects that. Okay, cool. I was assuming that I guess what's interesting is that we could also go, why don't we copy this one? And we won't put blank IDs on stuff because that weirds me out for some reason. And we want div content editable. It'll look a little different, I think, but it's still editable. But we don't need to put field sizing on it because divs are just divs and divs just grow. And they also don't respect pre-wrap and all that, do they? So if we could say content editable is white space with wrap, then it will, right? And then we can say font family mono space. You know, it'd be interesting. This is making me think about extends, native extends, which is not, it's like a Sass concept. You know, in Sass, you could write like dot footer and it like at extend some other class. Like I want it to look like a card, and you could write that and it would go find the card class and pull its styles into the footer class. Basically making like that in the output of stuff, which was a little foot gunny, but whatever. It wouldn't be that way if it was in native CSS, which would be awesome. It makes me want to be like, if it was in native CSS, you could write at extend text area. And then maybe you would get the browser styles of a text area, which I don't think we've otherwise been able to do. Like take these user agent styles and apply them to something else. Probably not. So that's interesting. What's the extra space at the top? So if you have an extra space at the top of a text area, it does not render that space. If you have an extra like line break at the top of a div, it does. Explain that one. Huh? That's like your advanced HTML and CSS homework tonight. So I have to do that if I want the behavior to be the same. And then we could say content editable text area if we wanted like the borders to be the same, like border 1 pic solid black, padding 0.5 rem or whatever. That way this one and this one will look the same, except for no resizability. So you'd have to go, in the text area version, you'd have to go resize both. And then even that won't work because it doesn't have hidden overflow. So you'd have to go overflow hidden and then you'll get it, right? Okay. Interesting. So this is going to behave the same. No, it's not behaving the same. Oh, that's because I resized it. So will the field sizing take place now? Okay, so that's something to know, is that, I don't know, where do we write this down? Should we just make a thoughts.md like we do sometimes? If you grab and resize the text area, field sizing doesn't work anymore. And the other one we learned was first line break doesn't matter on a text area, but it does on a div content editable. Like, this is niche stuff that I don't know that anybody actually cares about. I'm just for ourselves. And then height wins over, or like explicit sizing, because I assume width does too. Explicit sizing wins over sizing like height or inline size or whatever. Wins over field sizing. Okay. They're not really thoughts, I guess. They're more like notes. Okay, dokie. So we learned a little bit there. We haven't applied it to the input yet. So maybe we'll start doing that at the top here. Input, field sizing content. What's going to happen? I think it's going to collapse. Yeah, collapse to no sizing, which I don't know. I guess it still feels surprising to me that it does that, because it's like, why not just stay the size you were? Like, why were you the size you were? So like without this on here, what is making it 300 pixels wide? It's the user agent style sheet, isn't it? Isn't it a min width or something? Inspect, input. Why are you, oh, it's a 149.45 pixels, not 300. What is doing that? Does it have a width applied to it? No. Computed styles. What's your computed width? And it's just grayed out. Like, I don't know. Magic makes me that big. Is there a min width on it? No. It's just one of those, like, from just the divine intervention. Like, why is an input 149.5 pixels wide? Where's the box model thing? Isn't it in here somewhere? Computed layout? I thought it was at the top of this thing. Am I crazy? Isn't there like a thing with orange boxes and stuff? Do I have to select this to make that work? Input? I don't know. That's freaking me out now. Okay, well, we know how wide it is. It's 149 pixels wide. And for some reason, field sizing collapses it. So I guess that's a note. Input type equals text is somehow 149.5 pixels wide by default. But if you put field sizing on it, it collapses to what? 1 character, 0 characters, just enough for the padding to be there probably. So if we turn that back on, how wide are you? 8 pixels wide, which is probably just the padding in line plus the border and stuff. I'm just going to say it collapses. And then we'll just say text areas collapse to. Okay, but that's fine. We'll just say, but the thing is, I like the 100% width on the text area, and I don't like it on this input right now. Although I say that, and I do kind of like, generally, I like 100% wide inputs too. I like a single column form. I read like a Luke Wroblewski book 100 years ago about forms, and I was like, they should be one. And when we worked at Wufoo, we made them column forms for the most part. You could override it if you wanted to, but so in my reset, you'll notice as you scroll down the HTML, I make my inputs as wide as they need to be here, which makes field sizing a little like not important on it. So for demo purposes for this, I think we're not going to make them 100% wide, but we have to make them something because we can't let them collapse. That's stupid. So the min inline size or whatever is, we'll say like, I don't know, 100 pixels. I did always kind of, and then we'll just, why don't we do 2 of them? I think that will demonstrate the idea nicely-ish. Bop, bop. So now there's 2 of them, and they both have content on it. I haven't actually done this in the stream yet, so watch this. If I go, Chris Collier is my name, and I'm continuing to type, it's pushing itself wider. So field sizing on text area pushes down, and on inputs, it pushes to the inline size direction or whatever. So block end and inline end. Is that entirely true though? Like what if we removed the width of the text area? Will it push horizontally also when these collapse? I guess it does. Blah, 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 blah. It's pushing horizontally and vertically. So field sizing, it really works in both directions. It's just inputs, you can't have a return in an input. They just are one size by default. So it's like two directional on text areas and one directional on inputs, except for it's pretty much one directional on text areas too, because you're pretty much going to always want it to push downwards. So I don't know what to say about that, really. It just feels, the way to think about it is these go horizontally and these go vertically, I guess. And it can be kind of nice, I think. Like, what if you had a really short one for your, like, middle name, because a lot of people just do middle initial. So if you did this, maybe let's do it, like, properly. We'll go label times 3, and inside the labels, there's an input. It's of type text. Yeah, I guess that's a good enough start. And this will say, you know, first name, and then I'll just say middle instead of saying middle initial, so people could interpret it either way, and then last name. And each of this will be inside of a name group or something. Yeah, gotta format that so I don't go crazy. And then inside of our name group, let's do this at the bottom. Name group. The inputs of type text inside here are, those have width 100%. But it's a 3-column deal, so name group is really like display flex, I guess, to put them side by side. This is reminding me of Wufoo. Let's see, templates, registration. This is how we rocked name fields at Wufoo. View template. You could turn on the middle name thing, but I always, you know, I never minded that name. Look at it's even got, that's a little nicer even. They were always side by side and split up, and you could put a middle name field in there if you want to. So this is a little bit like that. Let's push stuff away. So I'm sure that's bothering you all very much. Let's go body. Margin 0, padding 1.5 rem, just having it look a little nicer. Font 100% system UI, cool. And then I suppose the gap, there could be a little bit of one, just make it look a little bit more like reality. Boom, boom, boom. Now these have field sizing on them, right? Because we put it on all inputs. Ooh, all inputs? Does that mean input of type submit and stuff has field sizing on it. Is there any negative implications of that? I guess maybe we should put one in here just to see if it does. Input type equals submit, and like there's all these weird types, input type equals button and stuff. So yeah, it seems fine. It doesn't like collapse awkwardly or anything. Fine. So now if I type let's say my name is really long, extra Flopodopoulos. Oh, look at that. It like pushes as far as it can and keeps going. That way I can see my complete name. I have now pushed off the edge of the screen. Is that a good experience? No, I guess. But that we could probably fix that pretty quickly with flex wrap. So it probably won't be there. Oh, it's already there. I'm going to say, because we were trying to like imply that like maybe it's the middle initial. So we'll class middle and say dot middle. That one has a width. Ooh, but if we say width, it's going to override the field sizing, right? So if we just had like 50 pixels to make it look small. Ooh, why is it ignoring me? Class middle with 50. What's wrong? Is something overriding it? Yes. So we have to go middle, whatever, input dot middle to win the specificity wars. Ooh, even that didn't work. Come on. How far do we have to go here? Okay. That's cool. How do we force a line break after this? Should we just be explicit and say we always want a break after that? Sure. So it's smaller now. Not small enough. Why are they all 50? What is happening here? Name group. Input dot middle. That's it. Why'd you become the same size? Oh, because I'm not like flex wanting anything inside of it. All right, like this would be, anything in here should be flex 1, so it will take up all the whole space. Yeah, and then this can be less big. But I was hoping this middle one would like, the whole thing would kind of collapse. So we need the class equals middle on the label. And then not that. Just middle should be enough then to collapse this whole middle area. Is the flex 1 winning over the width? Like I'm forcing a width here and it's being ignored. Middle, width. And it's like, no thanks, I'm flex 1. Is it because it doesn't have flex shrink? Do you have to use 100 or something? Like I know how Flexbox works, please. All I did was make the poster. Flex, you're allowed to grow, but you're not allowed to, or you're allowed to grow and shrink? Yeah? How do you freaking do this? Maybe you leave this as flex 1 and you make this a flex of 30 pixels. Is that how that works? Nope. It made it bigger. What do you think of that? Flex 30. Oh, look, it is 30 pixels, but it's just being smashed. How wide are you rendering? No, it's rendering all that whole size. It's like DevTools. I'm looking at the little dashed lines in DevTools there, and it's like, hey, I'm trying to be 30 pixels, but something is forcing me bigger. Important. No, I refuse to be smaller. Why is this the stupidest problem I've ever seen in my life? This whole container needs to just be the size 30 pixels. Width feels like a better declaration to make there. But it's being ignored, and it's being ignored because of this. If I get rid of it, it's happy to be 30 pixels, surely. Right. It's weird how it overlaps, though. It's like, well, it doesn't overlap. It's just middle is it's too big of a word. It's overlapping its own self. And then, but input type text is 100%. So this is like what does 50 pixels look like? Oh, and why is the input unwilling to go that small? Is there some like minimum width on, oh, min inline size? That's me, I did that. It just needs to be smaller. That min inline size needs to be as small as this, 50 pixels. Merp. There, that's what we want. I just want first name and last name to then just be bigger. But if you say flex 1, they just all get bigger. That's dumb. I hate Flexbox. Let's just not use Flexbox because Flexbox sucks. Display grid, the great one that works well. And then grid template columns is 1FR min content 1FR. And this is irrelevant now. Look at that. That's exactly what I want. Boo, Flexbox, go grid. Now what happens if this gets bigger though? The min content should, ooh, it's just being ignored. Width is 100%. Oh, is that what's ruining it? The width equals 100% is probably what's messing it up because that's going to override the field sizing. So these will have proper field sizing now. Now min width, that's right. So now Mr. Andrew is saving me as usual. This needs to be min width. So we're not winning over the field sizing. So it's taking up all the area like we want it to, but the middle name is like, normally you go J, like Homer J. Simpson, but instead it could be Jason. Oh, it grows, but it won't push the other one away. Why won't you push the other one away? Mid-content should just be getting bigger there and causing some reflow. Wow, now I'm dedicated to getting this to work. The input was happy to be big. I think with 50% staying on the label. So it's the label is 50. Oh, I see. That also needs to be min with 50 pixels. Well, I don't think that's going to be respected properly then. It's almost like you want max width there or something. Oh, you were just right. As usual, jeepers. This is nice. This is a nice experience. My name is Chris, but my middle name is Christopoulos Coyer. And look at what happened. That was a very satisfying experience with field sizing. That is not bad, really. Especially knowing that this is not that wide. But what happens if we get obnoxious, though? First, there's some wrapping on the label. Don't love that. We could say that the label itself, the problem is that what if I say white space no wrap on these labels, what does it white space no wrap the inputs to? Well, the inputs can't wrap anyway, right? So that's fine. So we could say the labels in here are white space no wrap. Did I get that right? So that should maintain its width so it's not going to smash down, but it goes around. So how do you force grid to wrap? Grids can wrap, can't they? Isn't there some kind of something that may, I mean, I know they don't naturally do it, but there's some kind of wrapping mechanism for grid, or at least it pushes an element down into the next column, but I don't think it can do it. I don't think it's willing to do it like with reflow like that. Like it would make that decision later. You're saying autofill this line, these columns, if I say that, but autofill fit works with like repeat, right? It's like repeat autofill 1FR or something, right? But and then, oh yeah, it didn't like that. How did I screw that up so bad? Do you need a min max to have this relevant? Yeah. And now that min content is gone, unfortunately. Because you can't, what can this value be in repeat? Can it be more than one value? Probably not. I think that invalidates this whole thing. Yeah. That's too bad. Probably Flexbox was probably the way to go. I probably gave up on Flexbox a little too soon. But whatever, Flexbox is the worst. Grid is the new thing that we all like. Anyway, I guess it's not that bad. I mean, I'm just trying to account for the mobile case here where you're not buying a lot of good functionality, I guess, at a really narrow screen. Like at this level, it's a pretty nice experience. At this level, maybe less so. So maybe at that point, maybe it's just a decision about columns. You know, like this would be pretty simple. Actually, we could use what we have learned the last couple of days, couldn't we? We could say, ooh, do you think custom functions are in this version of Arc? It updated last night to 140, so it might be. So we could say, ooh, this will be fun. We'll just be extra fancy for no really good reason. At function calls results in this, and then calls here just as a start. Is it going to work? Oh, it totally is. Look at that. Note, remove this for real demo, because I don't think we can, I don't want to put that in there. That's something. But what was I going to do? Just be like, if media width is less than 350 pixels or whatever, then it's just 1FR. Right? And then else, it's this. So the result is this if statement. Yeah. Didn't like that. If the width is bigger, no, smaller than 350 pixels, it's 1FR. Otherwise, it's these 3 columns. Did I screw up this syntax somehow? It looks right. Oh, there's no semicolon there. So boop, 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 boop. What do we think of that syntax? That's surprising that I was able to not look anything up and memorize that. Not bad, I guess. Maybe we could get a little more exotic and be like, well, at 4, then at 450, there's 2 columns. But then it's going to put first and middle together. But look at that. That's like pretty nice-ish. That's pretty nice way to do that, where this part of it is not soiled with the logic of it. The logic is all maintained in this custom function. Yeah, maybe. So I think this has browser support a little deeper than this, but they're both just Chrome only, so it's not really technically usable. We don't need it anyway. We can just nest some media queries in there, but it's kind of cool to see. What is actually more readable like this with like line breaks? These are the 3 potential values. I think it might be. What is prettier? Prettier surely has no idea what's going on here. Format. Prettier ruins it. So I should probably put a prettier ignore there. I don't know if it really will ignore it. Do you have to ignore each line? Format this file. Is it still going to mess it up? No, it left it alone. Yay. Cool. All right, so that's field sizing on inputs. We probably spent too much time on it, only because I think the main point is like, dude, field sizing rules for text areas. Like this use case right there, that rules. That's wonderful. This one, a little fancy, too fancy for its own good. You don't need it on content editable elements. So I guess let's read a little bit more of what it has to say. Elements affected by it are Inputs of type email, number, password, all the texty ones, that makes a lot of sense. If no minimum width is set on the control, it will only be as wide as the text cursor. Yeah, that's the collapsing part. That it's like, okay, why were you 150 pixels to begin with? You know, who says? Controls with placeholder attributes will be rendered large enough to display the placeholder text. Oh, well, that's interesting. So if one of these collapses, like we don't put a min inline size on them at all, won't one of these collapse? No, because we're setting it here, right? So if that goes down, they're all going to collapse. Okay. And now first name as a placeholder is Chris Coyer. Chris, because it's just first name. So that will show the whole placeholder probably. Okay. That's just an interesting note. Where did I say the collapsing? Oh, yeah. Placeholder text makes it only collapse to placeholder. Weird. Good to know. Let's back out those changes, though, because the changes were actually pretty... It left it in a halfway decent spot, especially that. That's fun. File inputs. Direct text input is not possible. Yeah, since when has it ever have been on file? However, the displayed file name changes as the user selects a new file to upload. That's always been like that. When field sizing is content, the control will change to shrink wrap the file name. I don't know if I feel like messing with that. It always shows the file name. I get that it like will get bigger, but I thought it already behaved like that. I bet there's some difference between file inputs, but like, man, I just don't use file inputs that much. It's like by the time you're doing file inputs, you're in JavaScript land usually, and it's like you're abstracting that stuff away. Text area controls. It's worth noting that text area elements set behave much like single line text controls with the following additions. If it's unable to grow due to a width constraint, it will start to grow in height. Yeah, good. When a height constraint is then reached, it will start to show a scroll bar. Yep. Rows and calls modify the default preferred size. Right, so if that's another way to set... Actually, since I was Captain Complainy about LH units not representing actual lines, maybe we should try that. Demos for field sizing. I set a min height here. So what if we just didn't? I think then this top one will collapse down to whatever that is. Actually, that's interesting. Will it fully collapse? What is it? Okay, it's a little taller. As soon as you set field sizing on a text area with nothing in it, it collapses to 1. Otherwise, the browser has it at about 2 tall with no attributes on it. So that is this one. So if we said rows equals 3, do we get like clearly 3 rows? Yeah, we do. And it's like almost dead on accurate. I think that's better than setting a min height. Just because of how clearly how many rows you get. That's nice. I'm going to put a note here. I think rows is nicer. Fight me. Cool, rows and calls, whatever. They have no effect on elements with field sizing. As a result, they have no effect. They clearly have some effect. Oh, maybe not. I forgot to put the field sizing back. So this is going to collapse again. Oh no. I think noses are nicer generally, but field sizing wipes it out. Okay, so we're back to min height. Yeah, what are you going to do? That makes me even less happy about the line height unit. Select controls. These behave a bit differently than what you might expect. Ooh, I bet this is a whole ball of wax. It's large. The drop-down size is large enough to display the longest option value. So if there's a really long one, but that's what it does already. But maybe it's talking about if we take CSS control over the select, like you can do now, that this matters more. I'm not sure I have time to deal with that. I have to go pretty soon. Field sizing interaction with other settings. The sizing flexibility provided to form controls by this can be overridden if you use other CSS. Yeah, okay. So use height or width wins. You said min height, min width, that's going to win. I think it's like, it's nice that it's weak. Like if you want to use it, then don't impose any other controls. I think that's kind of, that feels CSS-y, that feels correct. I wish Flexbox was that kind. The max length attribute causes the control to stop growing in size when the maximum character limit is reached. Yeah, again, that's max length winning over what field sizing can do. So field sizing doesn't win over anything. It really need to leave it alone for it to do anything. So examples. Is it nice? Yeah, see, I look at this and like, yeah, that's cool that you can do that. Why would you ever do that? Why? The first two fields have this. Yeah. Is there another good one? Nope. Oh, there's a select one. Does this have a play button that should go to CodePen probably? I don't see what this is doing. With it, without it. I mean, I see that this is a multi-select. Oh, apples got bigger. Oh, the parent got bigger because the longest one, which I guess is pomegranate, is bigger. So this one, it's like, the parent is shrink wrapping down. And this one is not shrink wrapping down. Oh, that is interesting. Okay, I get it. That's cool. And rock and roll, just no Firefox. And limited in Safari. All right, I guess that's it. Not bad. I don't know how to turn this into something more useful and readable, but that's my problem for later. I definitely understand more about this now. I understand a lot more about field sizing and a lot less about Flexbox. 2 steps forward, 1 step back for today. Gotta get the kid. We got swimming tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it, friends. Bye-bye.